Good morning, students. Today we are going to study about microbes as biofertilizers. In last video we have studied about microbes as biocontrol agent. Instead of using insecticides and pesticides, we can go for use of organisms to control the pest and the pathogens. Now, whether we are using the biocontrol agent or whether we are using the biofertilizer, our main intention is to increase the yield of the crop. Why there is need to increase the yield of the crop? To fulfill the needs of the human being, to fulfill the need of the growing population. So, continuous taking the crop from the field, it is responsible for decreasing fertility of the soil. So to increase the yield of the crop, what we are doing? Instead of increasing fertility of soil, we are going for use of chemical fertilizers. We are going for use of chemical fertilizers. So chemical fertilizers, these are the man-made chemicals. Once man-made chemicals are formed, these are not degraded from the nature. They are persistent in the nature. As they are persistent, as they are living, they are responsible for causing the environmental pollution. They are responsible for causing the environmental pollution. So, nowadays, environmental pollution is a major cause of concern. Environmental pollution, it is a major cause of concern. Why? Because we are using chemical fertilizers. That to excess use of the chemical fertilizer, it is responsible for decreasing fertility of the soil, as well as it is responsible for causing environmental pollution. Soil pollution will be there, water pollution will be there, because as we are using chemical fertilizers, as we are adding these chemical fertilizers in the soil, it remains in the soil. It destroys the microorganisms present in the soil. That's why fertility decreases, and it is responsible for causing soil as well as water pollution. So, continuous excess use of the chemical fertilizer, it made us to realize that use of such fertilizers, it is causing the environmental pollution. So instead of going for use of chemical fertilizers, nowadays we are planning to go for organic farming. We are going for organic farming. Instead of using the chemical fertilizers, we are preferring organic farming. So what is organic farming means? The use of biofertilizers. Use of biofertilizers. So instead of using chemical fertilizer, we are using biofertilizers. Bio, life. So the living organisms which are increasing fertility of the soil. Living organisms which are responsible for increasing fertility of soil, they are called as biofertilizer. Bio means life, and the life means living organism. So any living organism which increases fertility of the soil, that is nothing but the biofertilizer. So in detailed definition of biofertilizer, organisms that enrich the nutrient quality of the soil. Organisms that enrich the nutrient quality of soil is called as biofertilizer. Now, which are the microorganisms? Which are the microorganisms which are responsible for increasing the fertility of the soil? Means there are presence of different type of bacteria, there are presence of number of fungi, and there is presence of number of cyanobacteria. So bacteria, fungi and cyanobacteria, they are responsible for increasing fertility of the soil. Clear? Now we should know, when we are bringing chemical fertilizer in our home, there they are writing NPK. N means nitrogen, P means potassium, P means phosphorus, and K means potassium. That means what is required for growth of plant? Main requirement, it is nothing but NPK. So if we take the example of the DAP, if we take the example of urea or so and so, what is present? There is presence of nitrogen, there is presence of phosphorus, there is presence of potassium. So for growth and development of the plant, major components, they are nothing but the nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. And these nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, they should be present in soil. If they are not present, soil fertility is less. If they are present, soil fertility is more. So to increase the soil fertility, to increase the concentration of nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, there is use of bacteria, fungi and cyanobacteria. Bacteria, fungi and cyanobacteria. Now we are known, atmosphere contains nearly 78% of nitrogen, and that 78% of nitrogen, it is not directly taken by the plants. It should be added into the soil, then only plants, they are able to absorb that nitrogen. So to add the nitrogen from air to soil, there is requirement of certain microbes. There is requirement of certain bacteria, fungi or cyanobacteria. So they are absorbing, they are trapping the nitrogen from the environment or from the air, and they are adding into the soil. Clear? Now, which are the number of bacteria, which are the number of fungi, and which are the number of cyanobacteria which helps in increasing fertility of soil? Now, these bacteria, fungi and cyanobacteria containing biofertilizers, they are present in market, and most of the farmers, instead of using the chemical fertilizers, nowadays they are going for use of biofertilizers, because these biofertilizers, they are responsible for increasing fertility of the soil, plus they are maintaining fauna. They are maintaining number of microorganisms in the soil. Clear? Now, which are the bacteria? Now, bacteria, these are the microorganisms which are used as biofertilizers. So, first bacteria, it is nothing but the rhizobium. Already you are known about this rhizobium. You are well known about rhizobium. Why? Because this rhizobium, it shows symbiotic association with leguminous plants. Rhizobium, it shows symbiotic association with leguminous plant. If we take the example of the groundnut, so these are the roots. Now, here there is presence of root nodules. There is presence of root nodules. What is present inside the root nodule? There is a presence of rhizobium bacteria. What is the function of this rhizobium bacteria? It absorbs, it traps the atmospheric nitrogen and it directly provides to the plant. So atmospheric nitrogen, it is trapped and it is provided to the plant. That's why this rhizobium, it shows symbiotic association with leguminous plant and it helps in symbiotic nitrogen fixing. It helps in symbiotic nitrogen fixing. Freely, if rhizobium is present in soil, it is unable to fix the atmospheric nitrogen. But when it is present in the root nodules of leguminous plant, then it is able to trap the nitrogen and it adds that nitrogen into the plant body in the form of, that is, it is provided to the plant in organic form. In organic form. So, organic form of the nitrogen, it is provided by this rhizobium. So, first bacteria, it is rhizobium. It shows symbiotic association with leguminous plant. It traps the nitrogen and it provides to the leguminous plant. So, this rhizobium, it is responsible for providing nitrogen which is required for growth and development of the plant. Now it shows symbiotic, but other bacteria are there. So these bacteria, they are freely present inside the soil. They are present freely inside the soil. These are called as free living bacteria. These are called as free living bacteria. Now which are the free living bacteria? Azospirillum is there, Azotobacter is there, Azospirillum, Azotobacter, Clostridium, Besseringia, Frankia, all these are the free living bacteria. They are freely living in the soil. When they are showing their growth and development, they trap the atmospheric nitrogen and they fix that atmospheric nitrogen into the soil. So, Azospirillum, Azotobacteria, Clostridium, Besseringia, Frankia, all these are the free living nitrogen fixing bacteria. Free living nitrogen fixing bacteria. So this Frankia, it is the mycelial bacteria and specially it is providing nitrogen to the non-leguminous plant. It is providing nitrogen to the non-leguminous plant. So keep in mind about Frankia. Keep in mind about Frankia. So Frankia, it is providing nitrogen to non-leguminous plant. So Azospirillum, Azotobacteria, Clostridium, Besseringia, Frankia, all these are the free living nitrogen fixing bacteria. They don't require any plants. Just they are growing. When they are getting nutrients from the soil, they grow, and during their body's metabolism, that is that cell's metabolism, they trap the atmospheric nitrogen and they fix into the soil. So these are the number of bacteria which are used as biofertilizers. Along with this bacteria, number of fungi they are used as biofertilizers. Number of fungi they are used as biofertilizers. So these fungi, they show mycorrhiza. That means one of the best example, it is nothing but mycorrhiza. What is mycorrhiza? Same as that of rhizobium. That is symbiotic association with leguminous plant is there. In the same manner, these mycorrhiza, it shows symbiotic association with the plants. Fungi that are showing symbiotic association with plants, they are called as mycorrhiza. So plant, it provides water. Plant, it provides certain nutrients to the fungi. So fungi, they absorb certain nutrients and they provide it to the plants. So this exchange, mutual understanding between fungi and plant, it is called as mycorrhiza. Mutual understanding. You can give so and so nutrient, I will give so and so nutrient. Such type of the association between fungi and plant, it is called as the mycorrhiza. Now, main fungi which helps in providing nutrients to the plants, it is from the genus that is Glomus. One of the fungal genus called as Glomus, it shows mycorrhizal condition. It shows mycorrhizal condition. Now this Glomus, what is Glomus? It helps in providing, it helps in absorbing phosphate ions. And these phosphate ions, they are provided to the plants. Along with this, it is responsible for giving resistant to root-borne pathogens. Resistant to root-borne pathogens, and it helps in tolerance to the drought and salinity. So plants, when they are growing, if there is a presence of the drought, if there is a presence of the salinity, then tolerance that plant, it is provided by the Glomus. Tolerance, it is provided by the Glomus. So such type of the organisms which absorbs the phosphate group and provide to the plant, which gives resistance to root-borne pathogens and which gives tolerance of drought and salinity to the plant, we can use them as the biofertilizers. We can use them as the biofertilizers. And next type of the biofertilizer, it is nothing but cyanobacteria. So these cyanobacteria, they are also called as blue-green algae. Cyanobacteria, they are called as blue-green algae. Keep in mind, cyanobacteria or blue-green algae, if they want to grow, means there is a requirement of water. That means there is growth of these organisms only in aquatic region. Now take the example. Our paddy fields are there. Paddy fields continuously presence of water. So if we are spraying, if we are spreading the cyanobacteria or blue-green algae into our paddy fields, what will happen? These cyanobacteria, they will grow. What is the function of these cyanobacteria? They will enrich the soil with more and more nutrients. Enrich the soil with more and more nutrients. And if we take the example, if there is a death of these cyanobacteria occurs, it provides more and more nitrogen to the soil. It provides more and more nitrogen, or it fixes more and more nitrogen in the soil. Now this cyanobacteria, they may be the free living cyanobacteria, or they may be showing symbiotic association. They are showing symbiotic. If we are taking the example of the free living cyanobacteria, Anabina nostoc and Oscillotria. Anabina nostoc or Oscillotria, these are the cyanobacteria which are used as a biofertilizer. Free living, that means they are present in water, they absorb the nutrients from the soil, they take the sunlight, they are growing and they are enriching our soil with the number of nutrients. And certain symbiotic nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria are there. Certain symbiotic nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria are there. Example, it is nothing but Azolla and Anabina. Azolla and Anabina. These two show, they are showing the symbiotic association, and with this symbiotic association they are fixing the nitrogen into the soil. So the cyanobacteria, that is blue-green algae, they may be free living, symbiotic, or fungi or bacteria. Clear? So these organisms, they are used as a biofertilizer. Now, why there is a need to go towards biofertilizer? Why we are not preferring chemical fertilizer? We should know. Chemical fertilizers, they are causing environmental pollutions. When we are using chemical fertilizer, they are giving a temporary fertility to the soil. They are providing temporary fertility to the soil. But if we take the example of the biofertilizer, they never harm the environment. They are not responsible for causing any type of the environmental pollution. Plus, they are increasing fertility of the soil and they maintain the fertility for longer time. They are maintaining the fertility for longer time. Chemical fertilizers, they kill the useful microorganisms present in soil. Chemical fertilizers, they kill the useful microorganisms present in the soil, but biofertilizer, they enforce the useful microorganism. They make the growth of other useful microorganism in the soil, so that fertility of the soil increases. So instead of going for chemical fertilizer, nowadays we are preferring biofertilizers, because biofertilizer, they keep the fertility of the soil for longer time. But chemical fertilizer, they provide only short time fertility. Chemical fertilizers, they are man-made chemicals. When they are present in soil, they are responsible for causing soil pollution, they are responsible for causing water pollution. But biofertilizers, they never harm the soil. Even whatever the organic material, dead plant and animals are there, they are degraded and nutrient quality of the soil, it is increased by using the biofertilizers. Clear?